What's up everybody, Ryan Loco here. First off, this video is brought to you by no one because these are not sponsored, because I just do these for fun. So you don't need to like, you don't need to comment, you don't need to subscribe. I just do this out of boredom. Hopefully the few people that do watch these do dig them. So put out my favorite images of 2020 on my website, so I figured I would make a quick little video, grab a couple of images and just sort of give like a backstory behind some of them. And that's about it. Let's kick 2021 off with a bang of a boring video talking about photos. Let's go. First photo here, this is Conor McGregor. Don't know the number of the UFC because my brain is just really awful. But so this is a shot of him staring at Donald Cerrone. Now, had I been in my normal position, I would not have been able to capture this photo. The reason I was in this position is because there was actually no spots for me available, because when Conor fights, things change. And so there's more media, there's maybe a couple more camera crew people, a couple more photographers. So I was actually left without a spot. They allowed me to sort of sit in this little tiny area next to where the guy was shooting all high speed film for the UFC. So I was able just to kind of crouch down and be in that spot, which allowed me to get this head-on shot of Conor staring at Donald Cerrone. You can sort of see right there on the left, there's Cerrone's leg with his glove right there and his shorts. I wish that you could see his other hand, but it wasn't going to be possible no matter what, because even if Donald wasn't there, there's still that cameraman that you can see right there. As any photographer knows that shoots a live event, TV always comes first. We're here. TV, us. I still really dig the photo. Do wish you could see his hand, but them's the breaks. This is Sugar Sean O'Malley. He is throwing a body kick. Just happened to catch it at the right moment, to catch that ripple, which a lot of people love to see. Photo kind of blew up on Twitter and Instagram, which is cool. It's one of those things where you'd love to sit here and I'd love to tell you that, like, yeah, man, it's just, you know, my crazy talent. I was able to capture this, but let's be real. Held the button down, got lucky. This is a shot of Sloane Stephens serving at World Team Tennis, the 2020 season. We did the whole season at the Greenbrier Resort in West Virginia. So we were basically in a bubble, quarantined there. The whole season in one stadium, which means that we had multiple matches in the same stadium. And the thing with World Team Tennis is it's obviously the same players on the team. So it's a challenge after the first couple days to then sort of take an image that you haven't seen before, because let's be real, there's only so many photos that you can take. This was taken actually from the top of the stadium, and I was actually shooting through handrails in order to capture this shot. Basically, it just sort of became a game for myself to see as the days went on, like what weird spots I can find myself in, what could I do. I was on the TV stand at one point, got yelled at, got kicked off, but I got the shot, so it was all worth it. You know, doing almost 30 days in one location is not easy, but I needed to do some things in order so that my brain didn't explode. Speaking of that, this is Genie Bouchard during her serve. This is when we were indoors, so when it rained, we actually had an indoor court that was covered, so that way we can continue play, because we had to get all the matches in. And this was a double exposure that I shot with the Canon 1DX Mark III. The reason this works so well is because the background is completely black, because they had this giant curtain coming down. It probably would not have worked so well had it been very busy back there, because the camera would have had still some movement and it would have thrown it all off. Also from World Team Tennis, this is Sabine Lysicki. This was before the matches actually started. This was during our portrait day. And so because they all have teams, they all have different colors, so I decided to sort of throw a little fun into the mix, and we used two Yongnuo light wands. Very small, very easy to travel with, very simple. So I wanted to have the blue and the orange of the team to showcase that. This is a shot of ACH from the GCW Collective. This was a 3-day event in Indianapolis, Indiana, wrestling all day, every day. I decided to go out there to shoot Josh Barnett's Bloodsport event, and I figured while I'm there, what I'll do is I'll bring my Mamiya RB67 and I'll shoot pretty much everything on film. If I mess it up, I have no backup, I'm screwed. It was also terrifying to send the film out in the mail, because basically you're just sending everything, hoping it gets there, and if it doesn't, you have nothing. And so my entire trip would have been almost for nothing, because I shot 95% of the weekend just on film. But I really love how this portrait came out. This was with the Ilford HP5. There's some other black and white films that I do like, but I feel that there's really no point in sort of messing with what works. And the Ilford HP5 is just beautiful. I have a couple other black and white film stocks that I have in my little photo closet that I'm going to mess around with, but I have a feeling that I will continue to go back to the HP5. From that same trip, GCW Collective, this is Killer Kelly. We headed out and sort of just drove around Indianapolis. We found some abandoned buildings, which was cool, but I really dug this one. We were just standing there after we had done all the shots we wanted to take and saw this giant wall of plants and decided to throw her in there. And I just thought the color of her hair kind of went well against the color of the leaves. This was shot with Portra 400, if I'm not mistaken. I just thought it came out really cool. She's a delight, absolute pleasure. Glad we got to finally meet, glad we got to link up, and glad we got to shoot together. This is a shot of Aleister Black, WWE wrestler. I was doing a shoot for his clothing line, Black Mask Clothing. Again, this is with the Ilford HP5, can't go wrong. He has such a great look that it'd be impossible for me to mess up a portrait of him. So, while I would love to take credit for this, I mean, it's all him. I think he appreciated it as well. I think he dug that we were shooting on film. This is a shot of Yoel Romero. I was hired by Bellator to take his official portraits. Just the standard things that I've done for a bunch of other fight leagues, and basically stand there, look left, look right, face the camera, stuff for the posters and stuff like that. But it was such a bright, beautiful day outside, and I really loved, the red gloves, how they pop. So went outside really quick. Again, Mamiya RB67, Portra 400, and just did a couple portraits. And I just dug how the shadows coming and blocking his face. You can't see his eyes. You got the red of the gloves, the bright blue of the sky. It all just came together perfectly in my eyes. This was the main event of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. It's Chris Dirty Dickinson versus Jon Moxley. This I shot with digital. It's the only thing actually I shot with digital was this event and these wrestlers. Simply because, one, it was so dark that there was no possible way I'd be able to shoot film. And honestly, even with digital, it was like shooting in a cave. I commend all the photographers that were there for capturing the entire weekend. I was blown away by how difficult this was to shoot. Really dug this image, dug the intensity. They're face to face. These two guys, the crowd was insane. It was a very limited capacity, but at the same time, the energy was so high because people were so excited to see Moxley in a Bloodsport event. Would give anything for it to have had better lighting, but at the same time, we have to make do with what we have. So after the match, did some portraits of Mox, and fortunate enough that Orange Crush, who is putting out this Journal of Art and Wrestling, this is going to be their second issue. They dug the photos and wanted to make this the cover, and I was all for it. Inside the magazine actually should be a little blurb as to how this photo came about, so I won't get too much into it. I'm glad that I was able to be there this weekend simply for capturing this image. I mean, just leaving with this photo would have been a success for me. I just think it came out really cool. Mox really dug it, and obviously Orange Crush dug it because they put it on the cover. And the last image is this shot here of Mox again, backstage, bottle of whiskey in hand, smoking a cigarette. This went out on the internet a couple weeks ago and people went crazy for it, which always makes me feel good. I would love to take credit for this, but I just happen to be the person standing in the locker room with him. Came out really cool, gives a very old school vibe to it, and kind of encapsulates Mox in one image. At the end of the day, I just, I want people to dig my images. Let's be real. As photographers, we want people to like our work. And it makes me feel good to see people dig something that I shot. I would love to sit here and say, like, these images that I just showed you and the rest of them are because, oh man, I'm so good at what I do, blah, blah, blah. And I hate hearing that bullshit. Like, I'm very fortunate. I know how fortunate I am. I cherish every moment I have. I cherish the access I have. I cherish the people I know. And I realize that it's through all of them that I'm able to do this. And it would be silly of me to talk about talent or a vision, etc. It's just that's not how I roll. So a big thank you to everyone who allows me to take their photo. A big thank you to everyone that looks at my images. A big thank you to everyone that likes my images. I truly, truly appreciate it. More than you'll ever understand. This is the only thing I like to do. And I'm very fortunate that it is the only thing I do. I'm pretty boring. Sit on the couch or take photos. So, hope you dug the images. There's more up on my website, ryanloco.com. You can follow me on Instagram at ryanloco. Again, video not brought to you by anyone. Don't need to like, comment, or subscribe. I don't really care. I just do these for fun. That's about it. Have a happy 2021. See you whenever I see you.